All right, everyone, we'll be in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 tonight. We have been going through the book of Corinthians, and we've noticed how Paul has addressed the church initially and gave his purpose for writing. He gave his authority for writing the letter. And in the first part of the book, he's commended them on some of the things that they were doing. And after the first couple of chapters, Paul goes into some of the things that the church is having difficulties with, some areas that the church is not succeeding in. And Paul addresses these issues. And tonight we're going to pick up in chapter 13. And Paul says, "Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal." What is Paul trying to say here? Paul says, I can speak with the utmost authority. I can say exactly what it is that God is telling me to say. But if I don't do it out of charity or love, he says, I'm just making noise. It's not making any sense. I'm just hearing myself talk. And it says, "And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing." So Paul's saying here, this is a very strong passage of Scripture. It's often preached around Valentine's Day, and I've heard it preached around Mother's Day as well. But Paul is trying to drive the point home of love. You know, it's okay to correct someone. It's okay to tell someone where they have fallen short, but you need to do it out of love. A lot of times today we'll see in churches and we'll see in our own personal lives, even outside of the church, where we tend to correct or call someone out on a certain issue, and 9 times out of 10 it's out of anger. It's out of hostility, it's out of jealousy, it's out of pride. And what does that do? That escalates the situation, and it causes problems, it causes arguments. And I think that Paul is trying to drive home here that if you do it out of love, that it would eliminate most of the conflict and controversy that comes after the statements that's made. Paul's saying, I could be the wisest man, have all knowledge and have all faith. Faith strong enough that I could move a mountain out of my way. Now, he's being symbolic there of moving a mountain, but there's a lot of things in our life that get in front of us and get in the way that to us become mountains, and it seems impossible for us to overtake. Well, Paul said, I can have the faith to remove all those things, but if I don't have love, I'm nothing. "And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profits me nothing." Paul's saying here, I may as well not even give to the poor. If I don't do it out of love, I may as well not even give to the poor. And I've seen it. There's this guy that sits at the McDonald's every morning. Every morning he's there. He's homeless. There's no doubt he's homeless. But every morning he's sitting there. Some mornings he has a coffee, and some mornings he has the coffee and his sausage biscuit. Well, sometimes he don't have anything. And there's been times when I did not buy him anything because I felt guilty. I couldn't find the love. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, I'm human just like everybody else. I felt not guilty. I guess guilty's not the word. I felt like he's able to walk down to McDonald's. He could come and clean up he'd come work with us and make some money. There's got to be something he can do. And I just couldn't find any love there. And then there's been other times when I walk in and my heart is just broken for the condition that he's in, And I'm not saying this because I want a cookie or anything, but I'd buy him a coffee and a sausage biscuit because that's what I've seen him eating and drinking. I think had I been begrudging against his condition and bought that it would have not made any impact on that man's life. But maybe the times that I did buy, and it was out of love, maybe it made an impact, because every time I've given him something, he'll look at me and smile. I'll say, hey, keep smiling, God loves you. And it opens an opportunity there. But Paul's saying here, hey, if there's not any love there, don't do it. Don't just do it because everybody's doing it. Do it because you love. And he says, even if I've given my body to be burned, he's talking about being a burnt offering, offering his body for a sacrifice, and do it without love, it's going to profit him nothing. Charity, I'm going to say love. Love suffereth long. How do you think people stay married?
They suffer.
I guess Norman and Peggy,
57 years.
our senior advisors to this passage here. How do people stay married? Has it always been a bed of roses? 57 years.
Oh, no.
Oh, Norman said, oh, no. It's not. I mean, we can be honest.
It's human.
It's not always been a bed of roses. How did the relationship last 57 years?
Because we always tried to put the Lord first in our marriage.
Okay, she says, put the Lord first
And show love.
and show love. Love suffereth long. Love endures. True love will get you through. My relationship with my wife hadn't always been on cloud nine. Hey, we ride the tilt-a-whirl sometimes. It just goes crazy in there. But looking back, when we got married young, and that was not very common in this generation. I was 18. She was 18, I was 19. We just celebrated 25 years together. 23 married and 25 together. You don't see that too often when people got married that young in this generation. Looking back over all the things that we've gone through, the trials, the struggles, the good times, the bad times, and the really bad times, the only thing that held us together was the glue of love. Because regardless of how mean I am and how evil I am sometimes and how I've got to always have my way, her love for me endures that. And vice versa. I won't say her faults here because this just might go out, okay? But the bond that has us together is love. It's not all the other stuff. And I think when you love somebody, you truly love somebody, you love the whole person. Who they are mentally, physically, their attitudes, their actions, their quirks. You love all those. And because I'll tell you, she gets on my nerves sometimes. Just her little quirkiness. Discussion. She's already made up her mind what she wants to do, but she wants to discuss it. Well, when I throw my opinion in there, it goes against what she's already said. What she's already made her mind up to. I know that's going to happen. Happened this evening while I was in the shower. I said, if you've already made your mind up, well, I wanted your input. You already made your mind up. And that could have caused an explosion. But I know her and she knows me, and that bond of love has kept us together. It says, and love is kind. Whew. I need to underline that one twice in mine. You know who gets the most abuse in our lives?
The people we love the most.
The people we love the most. You know why?
You are loved.
Because we are comfortable enough with those people that we have no problem abusing them. And I don't mean physical abuse. A lot of times it's mental, it's verbal, But love, true love is supposed to be kind. Even when, Michael, you had a bad day at work. Even when your arm hurts from playing the violin, everybody's sad song. Love is still supposed to be kind. Even when my wife cannot cook very much good stuff, okay? And I'd say that she was sitting right here. She knows it. But because of love, I eat it. Last night she made some good stuff. I told her to make it again tonight. It was that good. But even the bad meals, she's made some doozies, okay? But she just, because love is kind, and you know what she sacrificed to make that meal, you eat it, and you smile. And then at the end of the meal, she says, would you like to have that again? Then you say, baby, it was good, but I just don't think that I'd like to have it again. She understands, and I ate the meal. I was being kind and generous with my comments. It says, love envieth not. We all understand that one. That was pretty easy. Love vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. It sounds like he's writing to a church full of narcissistic people, huh? So love is not proud.
You don't brag.
Yeah, love is not puffed up or
You're not there.
arrogant. There's the word. Thank you, Peggy. Charity doeth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own. Love's not out for herself or his self. True love is out for the other person. Huh? You know why relationships don't work today? Because everybody's seeking to satisfy themselves. What makes me happy? Oh God, Lord, this is for me. What makes me happy? True love says what makes me happy is making those that I love happy. Isn't that what Jesus did? Wasn't that true love? Seek is not her own, is not easily provoked. Woo! We talking about how many times, I'll share these for these construction workers, these guys that work in the heat. Well, it don't bother y'all. I'll speak for me again, okay? Man, I come home after it's been hot. I mean, the devil was out there with us yesterday and he was sweating. It was hot. And I come home and I just want to cool down. Just want to relax and unwind. Give me my few minutes and just let me be and I'll be all right. Well, the kids go to hollering, fighting back and forth, and Crystal's got 100 things she wants to talk about. And just like that, I snap. And it breaks loose in the house for about 20 minutes. So my cool off time has just, I got hotter at the house than I did on the roof. Because I get easily provoked. Now, if I'm aware of this situation, it'd probably be wise of me just to pull over somewhere and go ahead and cool down the 15 minutes I need to unwind before I get home. And don't let this stuff get to me. Love thinketh no evil. Have you ever thought evil thoughts about the ones that you love?
Absolutely.
Michael? No?
He's got to go home with her.
After this Wednesday night special, we will open up the altar. We all probably have.
Sometimes
To admit it or
it
not.
even comes out loud.
Oh yeah, sometimes it even comes out loud when the heated arguments happen and love rejoices. That word kills me every time. Rejoiceth not in iniquity or sin, but rejoiceth in the truth. Love beareth all things, believeth all things, and hopeth all things, and endureth all things. True love will endure anything this world can throw at you. You cannot post this one because I'm going to share something that is not public information. Okay? We'll get you one next time. I have seen an example of true love other than Jesus died on the cross. There was this man. Go ahead and pause it. There you go. Paul's been teaching them about faith. Most of Paul's writings talk of faith. Most of Paul's writings talk of the hope that we have in Jesus Christ. But the greatest thing, Paul says, is not your faith. It's not your hope. But the greatest thing is love. Christ demonstrated that on the cross. Yes, he demonstrated faith. He did. He had to have faith in his Father to carry out his Father's will. Remember, he took on flesh. So he still, even though he was God, he was still flesh. He still understood who this man was. So he had to have a little bit of faith in his Father's will. And he had to have a little bit of hope that people would choose to follow him. But the greatest thing that he had is what nailed him to the cross, and that was his love for all of mankind. That's how you know he loved us. And he loved us unconditionally, and it lasts forever. His love is, and the love they're talking about here, I should have said that from the get-go. Paul is talking about the agape type of love, not that's unconditional love, not the phileo, which is a brotherly type of love, and the eros type of love, which is a sexual, a love in a sexual nature. Paul is talking about agape love, and we know that because he says there's no condition based upon this love. That's the kind of love that Christ has for us, unconditionally. He loves us even when we don't love him. And that's what Paul's trying to teach us here. He's trying to teach the church at Corinth to love unconditionally, without fault, without expecting anything from it. To love unconditionally. The world could use a lot of that today. To love unconditionally. And you'll see it sporadically. But man, if the world would follow 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it'd be a lot better place. All right, any discussion on chapter 13 of 1 Corinthians?
That speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I like to go through it every now and then, especially 13, especially when there's some struggles at home. I'll read it. Man, sometimes I sit up late anyway. Sometimes we're not on the best of terms. And I'll just go in there and remind myself what love is supposed to be. That would be a good idea for us to do. Everybody other than Mark and Vicky, because they have the perfect relationship over there.
Yeah.
There it comes.
No, I mean, it's like everybody else. We have our ups and downs, but to me, I have the love for her, but I also have the honesty and the faith for her because I don't have to worry about the society nowadays is so corruptive that when I go to work, I don't have to worry about what she's doing.
Right.
Same way with me when I'm out, she don't have to worry about that. Saying, okay, I'm gonna be late, say an hour or whatever, I'm not out there,
Yeah.
I'm at work or doing something, that way. But the society nowadays is so bad.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
But it would probably be wise of us to read through that every now and then. Even when you're on the top of the mountain in your relationship. It depends on how many times you get up there, but you may stay up on that mountaintop a little bit longer if you remind yourself how you got there. And the only way to get there, I believe, is to model 1 Corinthians chapter 13. model that picture of love that Christ has displayed for us and left us through the pen of Paul on how we're supposed to love. All right, well, that concludes chapter 13 of 1 Corinthians. Sunday evening, we will be in chapter 14. We're getting close. Do y'all want to continue on to 2 Corinthians? Y'all be thinking about it. We won't decide yet. Or do we want to move on to another book? Y'all be thinking about that, and we'll go where the Lord leads. And if y'all have a certain place you want to go, just let us know.
All right.